Alright, it's August 25th, 2021. So I'm up in Henri Locier's room, which is Anthony Tiafrio. He's the Mayan calendar baby, the last child. I didn't really need, but apparently the sequence did. So, this is what his born in 2012. So he was born century 20, decade 1. Plus 2 years. For those topiaries that like a date a little different than the rest. Now, I was trying to paint the world and myself with as little electronic device unleashing as possible to tailor back some of the future danger and not have to be raped and held captive and prisoner of war MIA. However, the humanness had a different painting that they put forth. This is what they had when I arrived in century 19, decade 7, plus 8 years. This is what they pushed for in my room. I am a 43-year-old woman. I have been kept away from the most important man that was in my lifetime, which is Niklaus. So this way I could be raped by 2 men to carry 4 children that nobody can explain, that I have no business being with either of the 2 useless fucking humans. And then to be lose everything after I didn't want to create myself. I did not want hobbies. I didn't want a lifestyle I had to work on. I have a perfectly handsome man that I belong to elsewhere that I want to get to. That theme has never changed. But instead, the dumb fucking useless humans, this is what they had in mind. For me to go through all of this anguish to wind up in century 20, decade 2, plus 1 year. I sleep down there. My son has a bed up here, but he is so frightened of the world while he sleeps, he asks for me to sleep close to him to protect him. There's a TV, but we have no outside network. It's just more of a monitor that you can cast things to. For decoration, this is what, for my Russians, my beautiful Russian dads, this is what America paints for the children in America. We got some kind of surfer. We've got the respectable man that used to be in a uniform, a respectable wool uniform, decorated, is now wearing a bed sheet or a blanket, totally naked, and a pair of underwear. I would tell them to take this down, but apparently Lou and Linda override all of my authority and think this is acceptable for the kid to have as a poster of something to look forward to in his future. And then there's this kid. Nobody knows whose kid that is. Then there's this thing. And then there's some cartoon. Now, my contribution to both Alex and my other son is some airplanes, some tartan, some camo, different shades, different pilot programs. Now, it used to be when electronics first came out, this was important. You spoke into this and people were supposed to listen as a prop. Just for significance, since the world was going crazy. Then you came up with this stuff. See, now these little bits of electronics don't work for me. This does not radio help. This does not radio the Coast Guard. All that's outlawed. So what this does is there's a second one, and if the Anthony 1975 is in the front room and my Anthony 2012 is in the back room, they talk to each other so they don't have to get up and move. That's the only purpose of this. If this never existed, they'd still be okay. They'd probably be in a better spot. Now, This is the other thing I've used before. I've used my hands because I thought it was a better way to go. But I see pilots use these, and they seem really important when they're flying something. I'm not a pilot necessarily, so I didn't want to wear something and disrespect their profession. However, being that this is where the world went, I'm thinking that me doing this, maybe I'll get through to something, even though it's disconnected. I'm putting it in my own, plug it in right now. Did any of you hear there's something called, they have a screw loose? It's a saying the Americans have, right? Right, yeah, that's more important. I found today the code word Gennedy Tartaovsky. The cat found out. So now I was watching Dexter's Laboratory with my favorite accent yesterday. And let's just remind myself that this is not even plugged in. So now I found Dexter's Laboratory, an hour-long one, no less. And for all you really important people that have these things plugged in and think like they're important, yeah, I'm Russian, I know better. All right, so now here's the thing. Let's see. Right, Dexter's Laboratory. So there's a storyboard, there's a story, then there's a couple of names, then there's a storyboard, then there's a music directorship, then music, and then there's Warner Brothers. Bugs Bunny was on there eating his carrot, but all dressed in tails. And then it was Cartoon Network. It was really symbolic how the 1 hour and something minute, I didn't watch the whole thing yet, went, because it has so much symbolism in it. I had to stop. I was taking photos of it, so this way I could send it out to like my text message muster. I don't know if they actually read anything. They're human. Usually they're not so useful, but whatever, we'll see. Let's think. All right, so one screw's loose, and then look at that. There was a bolt with Dexter and a wrench. Just Dexter with a wrench. And it looks like the shape of the Pentagon for symbolic and symbolism in your world of, like, I don't want to hang out with anything in this area. This is America to me at the moment, and quite frankly, there's more of this. I don't know where these guys went, but I didn't want unclothed men, but I was hoping that maybe there was some respectful whatever that was useful and helpful. Oh boy. So anyway, so I've got one wrench with the wrench on the Pentagon, screwing the cap on, the one bolt, B-O-L-T. And then there's Dee-Dee, D-E-D-E, with two blonde pigtails and big blue eyes, looking over Dexter's shoulder while he's screwing the Pentagon on tight, the one screw that's loose. And she's just watching in quiet in his laboratory. It's important. Because when I look at the Pentagon, I'm like, I know there's significance. I don't know what's inside of the... Because if you think of one screw loose, if you have something this shape and there's a screw at the top, and somebody took the time to take the screw and take the rod out, the entire thing would just fall apart. Just layer by layer by layer fall apart. And if somebody sat there and was examining it and trying to learn about it, and then was like, oh shit, when they figured out whatever it is that they scared themselves with, and then try to put it back together, And then somebody's like, hey, I got a good idea. Just so we don't get in trouble. Why don't we retrograde a new thread to the world mechanics at Pentagon machinist level? And they were like, nobody will know. It'll be us now. People know. Their things are not running right. People can't walk, their bones are breaking in weird ways. Athletes are misperforming. There's a whole lot of stuff and proof that you're all up to something. And there's people who know about it. I don't know what the fuck takes so long. So Warner Brothers has a Cartoon Network. There's like a whole theater, like a movie theater of all different kind of monsters and weirdos and creeps that sit in the movie theater. And then all of a sudden the next picture is just eyeballs. It went all dark, no lights in the theater, and just eyeballs blinking. That's like how we tried to explain you have a physicality that you're able to move, speak, and use in some useful format or manner, no matter what you look like during the day for what we need at management, upper management, and planetary management. And then when you're dead, there's some kind of eyeballs that still exist in like an energy format because the lights are off. There's no more physicality to you, but those eyeballs still seem to like blink on and off. Like you want an opportunity, and I don't understand why they just keep redirecting the wrong energy to the wrong uniforms. That could have been helpful, but now are all off the charts. So that one screw loose, I'm going to go, the answer I've got is Nicole Cattaruzza. I belong to Nicklaus. He's supposed to be somewhere Pentagon with a wrench, I guess, or outside the Pentagon with access to the Pentagon with that wrench or bolt to tighten the bolt for the one screw loose so we can fix the whole sphere thing, since somebody else's kids took it apart, examined it, broke it, then tried to cover it up, and we got some big issues. So that happened. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It is August 24th, 2021. Remember, I'm unplugged, unhinged, and I got a screw loose. And somewhere in the world, that makes sense to somebody who's got a job that's kind of important that gets one of these things at some part of his life. I don't know. I just don't see it. Yeah, and this is the thing, like on the street when you walk, you take these off because otherwise you'd be crazy, right? So nobody knows what you do for a living, kiddos. Just telling you. You put on a t-shirt, pair of shorts, and pair of flip-flops, and nobody has any idea where you come from, what you do, and it is that nil important on the streets of Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361, where I'm being held captive. Just saying, in case you thought like somebody should actually honor you for something, for breaking the world and then not doing anything proper to fix it, just causing more time to just dilate and elapse, causing more problems. Calling it like it is. Let's see. Anything else that is important on the streets of nowhere special? Oh, right, space address is Earth to solar system to Milky Way to universe. Those are my 4. And I'm in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361, wearing a Nicole Cattaruzza, August 3rd, 1978. I also have in this Dexter's laboratory a lexicon. I'm a Rubicon, but I have a lexicon named Alexander James. He's August 3rd, 2005, and him and I share a frame and a cubit of time, which is unlike the rest of the humans on top of our alien presence, which is being held captive against our need and wants and desires and wishes and purpose for being actually created in this section.